Okay, good morning once again. Sorry for the delay cost, right? And in our previous session, we were discussing about the firewall as well as the different types of intrusion detection system techniques, right? I hope I am audible as well as the shared presentation screen is visible for all of you. Anyone can again ensure that is the presentation screen visible so that I'll proceed confidently. Okay, thank you for your responses, right? So we were discussing about different types of firewalls. We discussed about what is the use of firewall. We discussed about what is packet filtering, firewall, application level gateway, and then circuit level firewalls, as well as we discussed about stateful firewall. We discussed about personal firewall, right? Then we started discussing about intrusion detection system. When we talk about an intrusion detection system, it's a technique or it's a prevention technique through which, right, will our network or our individual system will try to identify is there any anonymous activities or no unwanted activities which are going to take place on the particular shared resources or the information which are available, right? So for that we discussed about different types. We discussed about statistical anomaly detection, and then we discussed about a profile based anomaly detection, and then we discussed about threshold based anomaly detection. Also we discussed about the intrusion detection system which can be applied for individual device or maybe applied for the network, maybe host IDS as well as the network based IDS, right? So these are the few uh, contents which we discussed in our previous session, right? The last key term which associated with the intrusion detection system is an honeypot, right? When we talk an honeypot, right, so it is a system, right, which is used to trap the attackers, right? So when we talk about the honey parts, right, honey parts, honey which will know tasty sweet, right? And similarly the network or the administrative people, what they will do is that they will create a system, right, which is a fake system or a duplicate system where they will have no some unwanted informations, right? So they will show that this is an actual system, right? So the attacker will not know that so this is an actual system, but they will try to attack this system. Whenever if the attacker is trying to access gain to this system or gain access to the system, right, the administrative people they will try to collect the information about the attacker, right? So when we talk about this any part which we used to keep away from the accessing the critical system, so this is not the actual software or actual resources or actual server, but this is a fabricated resources, right, which we are going to project that this is the actual PCR actual system, right? So which helps to collect the information of the attacker activities, right? The attacker they will try to attack this machine during those time, right? Administrative people they will try to collect what type of activities which are carried out by the attackers, right? Also, so this will encourage the attacker to stay on the system for a longer time so that the administrator can respond or administrator can get more or detailed information about the attackers, from which source they are trying to do the attack and what are the changes they are making. Are they deleting the files? Are they modification? Are they doing the modification on the access sites of the shared file, right? So when we talk about this honeypots are the fabricated or which is a machine which is completely filled with a fabricated or duplicated or unwanted informations, I could say that. So not even duplicated, which no, this is completely filled with unwanted information, right? So now when we talk about this honeypot which are going to be associated with are installed with sensitive monitors, right, and even loggers. So now, so these are the monitoring system, right, which are insisted by the administrator on the honeypots, right? So this will keep on detect that what type of activities which are performed by the attackers, right? So which is used to collect the detailed information on the attacker activities, right? So this event loggers as well as key loggers, so that will helps the administrator, right, to monitor the attacker, right, what type of commands is he executing, right, what type of activities which are performing, what are the processor which are executed by the attacker, right? So now again, so this similar with the IDS, right? Now this also can be implemented as a single as well as multi-network system, right? Now I hope you would have got the basic information about what is this any parts. If you have any query regarding the any parts, you can just kindly write in the chat box or unmute and ask the query. Any doubt? Okay, I hope there are no more queries, right? So with this, we are coming to the end of chapter 5 or module 5, right? I can proceed with the next module. In that, we will be detailedly studying about the malwares. Now again, I hope the presentation screen is visible, right? So under this module, we'll be discussing or we'll be studying about different types of malwares, right? And how it can propagate to the system in order to cause the damages as well as unwanted activities on the system, right? Also we'll study about the buffer overflow as well as cross-site scripting, SQL injection related, all the system related attacking activities, right? So first we'll start discussing about a malware, right? When we talk about malware, right? So which is the short form is, it is the short form of malicious software, right? Malicious means which are dangerous, right? Which are going to do some harmful to the particular resource, right? So this malicious software is a general term used for all the malicious software like viruses, worms, trojanos, and other harmful computer programs, maybe zombie and all other things, right? Which are used by the attackers to do the destruction and gain access to the sensitive information or shared resources, right? So that resources can be a computer, or resources can be a database, or resources can be a server, or resources can be any information which are stored inside the database or inside the server, or maybe the web pages, right? All those things, right? So another definition for the malware, right, refers to any software that is designed to cause damages to a single computer or server or to the entire network, right? So which may cause a damage or which may interrupt the user in order to not getting the actual services which are actually you're supposed to get, right? So this may cause a damage, or this may distract, or this may changes the access, right? Or this may deny the services, right? So that is called a malware. I repeat, any software which is designed to cause a damage to a single computer or server or computer network, or maybe we'll add here we can have the resources or data, right? I hope it is clear what is meant by this malware, right? Next, we'll discuss about the broad classification of the malwares, right? The malwares basically which are classified into two major categories, right? The first one is malwares that needs a host program, right? So on which, right, which requires definitely resources, maybe a file or a PC or maybe or any other resources, right? Then only so this virus or this malwares which can be activated, and that will from that moment it will start doing the malicious activity. The another category which are independent, right, irrespective of all other no resources, this does not require any other actions or any other resources to propagate, or maybe this may without any third party or without any activity or any action, so this can start self replicating as well as propagated to other devices, right? So when we talk about the category of malwares that needs a host program, so under that we'll be discussing about these trapdoors, logic bombs, and trojanas and viruses. When we talk about the malwares which are independent, under that we'll discuss about the worm as well as zombie. And when we talk about all these three, viruses and worm and zombie are the replicates. What is meant by these replications are cloning, right? Creating a duplicate copies by its own, right? After when we just click on it, click on of this any one of the malware, virus or worm or zombie, so these are all self replicated, right? So automatically it will create a cloning of its own virus, right? And that will spread it across all the files or the information which are present in the particular PC or on the network, right? Is there any query regarding this, the classification of the malware softwares? Okay, thank you. And next we'll be discussing about all these viruses in detailed way, right? The first one is that, right, I think everyone you might be knowing about what is this, the virus as well as its basic information, because when you use a laptop, right, definitely you might have installed with the antivirus software, whether it is a trial version or whether it is the licensed one, right? Definitely it requires an antivirus software, right? Because that is the only way through which we can protect our or the confidential information which are stored in our computers, right? Otherwise we can enable the no windows security, right? Automatically that will do the security to your devices, right? The first category which we are going to discuss here is that a backdoor or trapdoor, right? So now this is an illegal entry, right? Or I could say that it's a secret entry point into the program, right? So here, how these backdoors are going to be happen in your computer, right? Which allows those who know the access bypassing usual security procedures, right? So when we talk about suppose this is a this is a PC or network, right? And if the attacker, what they will do, the normal way of communicating this resource or network is that you need to pass or you need to flow the information or you need to pass the packets through the firewall if it is existed, right? What the attacker they will do is that they will smart enough to understand the procedure, right? So that what they will do, they will bypass the information, right, which will not follow the actual tracing method or actual security procedures, right? So they will bypass this way, and anyhow they will illegally they will try to reach this machine, right? So that is called a backdoor, right? So these backdoors have been commonly used by the developers or the programmers, or I could say the attackers who have the knowledge about the complete routing informations, right? So this can cause a big threat when left in production programs, allowing the exploited by the attackers, right? Again, if it is not identified, which is if your PC is not completely protected, right? We need to make sure that there is no such open ports through which, or maybe unwanted open ports should not be available in order to gain the access by the attacker, right? So it will be very hard to block an operating system, right? Once if it is identified, again we may need to take a precautionary actions in order to protect this trapdoor or backdoor, right? When we heard the word a backdoor or trapdoor, right? So you need to remember that it is an illegal entry, right? By bypassing that the traditional security or traditional way of reaching the computers, right? They are bypassing the route and then they are trying to reach, they are trying to launch the code on your computer, right? The second type of malware which needs a host to run it, right, which is a logic bomb, right? When we talk about the logic bombs, right, so this is one of the oldest type of malicious software, right? So here we can find that malware are a piece of code, right, are the piece of code which are intended to destruct the computer, are intended to destruct the file which are embedded in the legitimate program, right? So this is our actual program, maybe any compiler file or maybe any the system files. It is going to be added or embedded with the actual program, but when it is activated, but user may not know that whether it is the actual file, right? Without knowing it, when we do the click, right, so from that moment this logic bomb will activate it when a specified conditions met, right? So here this logic which refers to that certain conditions happens, this will start activated. This will get start activated from that moment whenever the particular condition met, right? So example is presence or absence of some file, and then the particular date or time as well as the particular users. There are different parameters through which this logic bomb can be activated. When triggered, typically damage, so whether it can delete or modify files, or if it can make changes in your partitions of your disk partitions, sometimes it may cause no shutting down your machine, or which may corrupt your operating system, right? All these things which can be executed once if it is activated. But one thing you need to remember is that when we talk about logic bombs, right, so this a piece of code which are going to be added with the actual program, when it is executed as well as when it meets a particular condition, only those time this will get activated. From that moment it will start doing the malicious activity, right? So next important malware which we are going to study is the Trojanous virus, right? So when we talk about the Trojanos, right? Again, why this the Trojanos, which was named, again I've explained during the ethical hacking value-added course, right? I've gave the hands-on training or the demonstration in order to execute the Trojanos virus using the ProRat tool. How many of you attended effect of Trojanos virus using ProRat? How many of you have attended that ethical hacking value added course? Just quickly let me know in the chat box so that accordingly I can elaborate or I can reduce it. I repeat, how many of you have attended? If you have attended, just say yes. Ethical hacking program, ethical hacking value added course, which was conducted commonly during the last semester. I was explaining where I was giving. Okay. So, what was the reason why you have not attended that value added course? Anushka, what is the reason for not attending the session? Because the value added courses are created and which was conducted in order to know fill the bridge or fill the gap between the curriculum, something which are not included in the syllabus, to bridge the gap between the curriculum as well as industry expectation. So we have organized such kind of value added courses, and if you are not attending it, definitely that is going to be a big loss for you all. What about others? What way I should assume? Around 19 students present here. I got only two responses. Okay, so you can refer the recorded videos on the Moodle account, right? Okay, those who have not attended, you are all informed to watch the videos from the ethical hacking course, right, which was value added course, right? The recorded videos are uploaded on the drive, or the links are shared in the Moodle account. You can just click on those links and then try to learn the basics at least, right? So we'll move into the subjects. When we talk about a Trojanas, right, it is remote access tool, right? So what the attacker they will do, suppose this is what a machine, right, a computer or victim machine. Now here is the attacker what he will do, right? He will, I can show it, suppose, just give me a second, I'll explain what is this Trojan horse. I hope the presentation screen is visible, right? Anyone can let me know in the chat box, is the screen visible? I'm trying to explain the pro rod. Right, okay, thank you. Right, so this was the presentation which I used for ethical hacking. I'll take just 5 minutes in order to explain so that you will understand it more clearly, right? Because it is the detailed one, right? So why this Trajanas, which is called, right? How many of you watched the movie Troy, which is, right? So in that movie, right, you will see that. So it was a big no horse, right, which was no built in with the woodens, right? So it was look like a statue, right? What the actually the opponent people, they'll bring this statue inside their no what the palace, but within this Trajanos statue, right, there are some warriors which no secretly hiding inside it, right? So once it was bring it to the Troy city, right, and they open the doors for all warriors outside Troy city and waiting to enter into the city. Similarly, right. So when we talk about the Trajanas virus, right, again it is which is any piece of user code which makes the kernel code access anything, it would not have been able to access itself, right? So here as a program that contains or install malicious programs, right? So here what we'll do, attacker he will try to launch he will try to send some information or send some files to the um, a victim machine, right? Victim doesn't know that whether it is the virus or Trojanous virus, right? It will initially it will appear like a useful software, but it will actually do damages once installed or run on your computer, right? So whatever the link which you are getting in your mobile or laptops or Gmail, right, or so you, if you just click on it, right, and sometimes it will knowingly or unknowingly, right, so it will try to open a new window or some files which might be downloaded, right? But when we talk about this the Trajanas virus, right, so say for example you may see that, so this is a symbol of CD, but inside the symbol of CD there are some Trajanas code which might have embedded it. Otherwise you will see some images, right? Inside the images, right, the virus code, the Trajanas coded might have embedded, right? You may, it may looks like this is like a JPEG images, right? And by curiosity, if you just wanted to see what is this image, from that moment this Trajanas virus will get activated, right? And that will give the access to the attacker. From that moment, attacker they will try to access your computer from remotely, right? When a Trajanas virus is activated on your computer, right, that results again some detailed informations, right? So some Trojanas designed to be more annoying the malicious, like so like changing your desktop and adding silly activity desktop icons. During the hands-on experience, I've demonstrated how the different types of serious activities which can be performed using the Trojanas virus, right? Right. So these are the different types of remote access or Trojanous viruses, right, which can have the remote access, maybe email sending, or might be used for data destructive, or which might be used for FTP Trojan, or which may used for denial of services, right? Right. So these are once if the attacker gets the gain to your computers, so these are the activities which can be performed on your machine, right? So you can erase of overwriting data on computers, encrypting the files, right, in your PCs, or upload and download files, allowing the remote access to the victim's computers using remote access tool, as well as installing a backdoor on your computer system. I was talking about the backdoor, which is the illegal entry, or we can perform so many activities, right? So this is how the Trojanus virus, which can cause damages to your computers, right? I hope now you would have got the basic information how this Trojanus virus, which are help the attacker in order to access a victim's machine from its remote location. Okay, so I'll proceed with this actual slides which I've started in the beginning, right? So once when we run perform some additional tasks, right, the which once if this is launched, I was explaining about, so you will get a image, right? this this is not actual image. Behind the image there are some trojanas coded or embedded, right? If you just click on it, from that movement, right, that will allow the attackers indirectly gain access, right? So from that moment they will enter in your PC and they will do whatever the thing want. They can do the shutdown and they can change the configuration, they can create a new administrator uses, or they can delete file, and they can do all the activities whatever they want, right? So this trojanas are used to propagate virus or worms, or installed a backdoor on a particular victim's machine, or which may be used for simply to destroy the data, or which may be use the password file, right? Whatever the password file which we stored in our computers, which can be shared with the attackers. After that he may proceed with the list of activities based on the password informations, right? Again, so this is again the detailed information about the trojanas defense, right? So how this trojanas viruses can be defended, or how, what kind of prevention we can introduce in order to stay away from this trojanas defense, right? So this which helps to avoid using installing a particular reference monitor system, right? When we talk about the reference monitor system, right, so even if the attacker gets some information, gets illegal access to your computer, right, so they're going to be complete monitors, right, through which a particular resources or shared files access cannot be changed, right? So when we talk about, see, look at this diagram, there are four diagrams, A, B, C, D, right? Now C and D, which implemented along with the reference monitor. Now the first two diagram, which are simple diagram, right? Now Bob is an actual user and Alice is an attacker. Now attacker is trying to launch a trojanus virus to this computer or remote computer of the Bob, right? He is launching a trojanus virus, right? So that can be called a back packet file, right, where which all these informations, once if it is launched to this machine, right, and all the rights information or the data rights file which are going to be modified, and that is going to be our forwarder, that is going to be shared with the attacker, right? So this here, once if the code is launched, right, from that moment, right, so with the help of this back packet file, the attacker will get the complete information about access of the file, right? They can make changes in this files, right? Maybe the access ID may delete the files. But when we talk about the trojanus virus with the reference monitor system, right, where even if the attacker launches his code, right, this file access cannot be changed, right, unless until if it is accessed or if it is opened by the administrator who are logging in with the specific IP address, right? In order to make changes along with the reference monitor, right, again, so you may need to do make changes with the IP spoofing also, because you need to use the source IP address or the actual user's IP address in order to make changes in this files. A reference monitor is the prevention system which will keep on checking what is happening in the particular file which are shared with the or which are created by the administrator, right? If someone is trying to change, right? So for example, if only the administrator he has the right permission. Suppose if some other wanted to make changes or some other user wanted to change the rights to read write for the attacker, in that cases, so this will not be permitted unless until if this file is opened by the administrator who is logging with the registered IP address. Otherwise, so this changes will not be possible. So this is how Trojanus virus which may defended, right, by implementing a reference monitor which will complete a prevention and control measures through which Trojanus virus which can be avoided. The detailed explanation which I explained theoretically, right, I verbally, right, I gave here through the words, right? So if you read, you will get the same idea. I'll quickly move on to the next slide, right? So apart from that, so how we can avoid the Trojanus virus means again by implementing a proper antivirus software, right? In order to protect all type of malwares, right? Definitely we should use a good antivirus software, right? So we'll proceed further, right? I am going to explain about another malware which is called a zombie, right? When we talk about this zombie, again is a malware or a program which secretly takes over another networked computers, right? Now when we talk about this worm and zombie are which can propagate over the network, right? But when we talk about the virus and other things which we discussed, right, maybe the Trojanus virus, right, which will not self propagate over the network, right, where we need any other third resources. Maybe if you are using a pen drive, right, if you are using a pen drive with the infected machines, automatically what will happen, your memory or your pen drive which will be corrupted with the virus. And if you are using the same pen drive with the normal machine which is uninfected, right, if this is your actual computer which does not have any virus, right, and if you are using a pen drive which is infected through another machine or previous machine, that same computer or the normal computer also will start get infecting with the help of the or through the infected pen drive which we used. I hope this is clear. In order to spread the virus among the different devices, right, you may need a third resources which may be your memory storage or maybe no you can use any other resources through which can propagate to one device to other devices within the system, which can self propagate, which can spread along with the different devices or different resources. But when we talk about these two malwares, worm as well as zombie, which without any third resources, without any devices which are directly propagate or which can transferred over the network from one device to other devices, it can propagate over the network through the communication links. I hope this is clear. So I was explaining about so these worm and zombie which can propagate over the network, right? So that so this mainly used for to launch a distributed denial of services. Basically, what is you all might be knowing about this? What is the denial of services? Denial of services is something that, right, where the actual user, right, who have the rights to access the particular the resources, right, say for example server, right, the actual servers will be blocked to access this device, that is called denial of services. But the actual user who has the rights to access the resources, but attacker will keep the server busy so that this actual users may not get services on time. So this is called denial of services, right? The next thing which we are going to discuss is a virus, right? So any queries regarding the content which I discussed so far? Any doubts which has to be addressed immediately? Okay. So with this, I hope all of you have wrote your attendance in the chat box, right? So I stop here in this session, right? So I'll resume the session after 5 minutes. You all can quickly join, right? And then I'll continue from here, right? So it takes some extra time. So that, thank you all. You are all requested to join after 5 minutes. Take care.